So you've seen the latest trailer for Death Stranding 2 on the beach. You didn't play the original for whatever reason, but between the giant kaiju battles, dynamic weather, and highway chases, not to mention the lack of many first-party PS5 exclusives, you're intrigued. The downside is that you have no clue what's happening or who these people are, much less what went down in Death Stranding 1. You could play the original, which clocks in at about 40.5 hours for the main story on average, according to HowLongToBeat. But how about a condensed version of everything that happens? It starts in unorthodox fashion with protagonist Sam Porter Bridges venturing through a vibrant mountainous region, which bears more than a passing resemblance to Norway, but don't worry about that. As his name indicates, Sam is a porter who delivers packages through rain, sleet, and snow. Except as soon as we learn in the opening, the rain will age and eventually kill you, as it does to several birds mid-flight. The sudden appearance of an individual causes Sam to crash, and he seeks shelter in a nearby cave. After narrowly escaping detection from an unseen, snarling creature, said individual introduces herself as Fragile, the founder of Fragile Express. She realizes Sam also suffers from dooms and can sense the creatures, known as beach things or BTs, but not see them, which she calls level 2 of dooms. After asking Sam to work for her, which he refuses, Fragile tells him that the timefall can't wash everything away and teleports away, leaving Sam to complete his delivery. Let's take a quick detour to talk about dooms. Although the game never fully breaks it down, dooms is a mysterious condition tied directly to the presence of BTs and larger Death Stranding phenomenon. Sam, for instance, is classified as level 2, which means that he can sense nearby BTs when linked to a bridge baby. Fragile has a more advanced version of dooms, allowing her to teleport across great distances. Then there's the Masked Man, whose dooms is even more extreme, giving him the ability to summon BTs and teleport freely. With that context out of the way, let's get back to the main topic. The world, such as it is, exists in complete tatters. Civilization as a whole has collapsed due to the Death Stranding, with various explosions rocking the globe and the BTs appearing en masse. Extensive amounts of chiralium perpetrated the atmosphere, causing the creation of timefall, the aforementioned rain which speeds up an object's age. Organic things grow old and die, inorganic things deteriorate. If that wasn't enough, the chiralium adversely affects humans to a suicidal degree, and when someone dies without the body being properly disposed of, read incinerated, a BT will consume it and trigger a massive explosion called a void out.
Once there was an explosion, a bang which gave rise to life as we know it. And then came the next explosion.
The story unfolds in the United Cities of America, or UCA, which saw the complete collapse of society and interconnectivity. People have avoided going out and instead rely on porters for supplies and aid. Amidst all of this is Bridges, an organization founded by Bridget Strand, Sam's adoptive mother and the president of the country, which also pushed for the development of the chiral network to reconnect the UCA. After Central Knot City and Capital Knot City are partially reconnected, Bridget's daughter, Samantha, also known as Amelie, charted an expedition to the west of the country. The goal was to convince other cities and communities to reconnect with the chiral network and, in turn, join the UCA. Returning to the present day with Sam, he finally arrives in Central Knot City and completes the delivery. However, a sudden task emerges which requires disposing of a suicide victim. Teaming up with Igor Frank, they venture to an incinerator, with the latter possessing a bridge baby referred to as BB-28. Bridge babies are essentially unborn fetuses surgically removed from still mothers and inserted into pods to act as BT detection devices. En route to the location, they're subsequently swarmed by beach things. One of them abducts a team member, and seemingly out of nowhere, a masked man in a hood appears. Igor is next, but before that, he gives BB-28 to Sam. After failing to kill himself, he's subsequently pulled up into this giant humanoid-looking BT. Igor is thus consumed and a void out is triggered, which Sam is caught up in. However, instead of dying, Sam is somewhere else. After death, their soul enters the seam and then the beach. Both are essentially transitions to the world of the dead. The seam is envisioned as some kind of ocean, so its connection to the beach is fairly literal, but it's worth noting that the beach isn't a shared afterlife. Each individual is capable of having their own personal beach. While the deceased traverse through it, there are those known as repatriates who can guide their souls back to their body using the seam, thus returning to life. Sam is one such repatriate and finds himself on the beach with many deceased whales and fish. He picks up a baby, seemingly the same as BB-28, and sees 5 entities floating in the sky. Just then, a woman in a red dress walks by, venturing into the water. Sam follows her and, in doing so, traverses the seam to reach his body and return to the world of the living. Though awakening at the sight of a massive crater caused by the giant BT, he seemingly blacks out again and wakes up somewhere else, cuffed to a bedside with BB-28 nowhere to be seen. After meeting with Deadman, who works with Bridges' medical team, Sam learns he's in Capital Knot City. He's quickly tasked with visiting Bridget, who's on her deathbed due to cancer, encountering Die Hardman, the director of Bridges. Left alone with Sam, Bridget asks him to rejoin Bridges, which he left several years prior after the death of his wife. It's an intense encounter, but by simply touching his hand, the deal is sealed. On top of Bridget's bleeding tar, she also has the faint appearance of Amelie and says she'll be waiting for Sam on the beach before flatlining.
I love you, Sam. I'll be waiting for you on the beach.
With the UCA and Bridges lacking a leader, the situation is more dire than ever, but there's now the matter of Bridget's body. It must be cremated to prevent another void out and ensure Capital Knot City isn't annihilated as well. In the absence of other porters or its corpse disposal team, Sam is tasked with taking Bridget's body to the incinerator. He's also given the body a BB-28, though this isn't explicitly stated to him. It's only at the location that the Bridge baby comes alive, and Sam forms a connection with them to avoid multiple beached things. Taking BB-28 as his own, Sam returns to Capital Knot City and meets with Die Hardman, who informs him that Bridget's dream isn't dead before revealing Amelie. Or at least, her hologram, revealing her progress since venturing west on an expedition 3 years prior. After reaching Edge Knot City, which is appropriately named for residing on the very edge of the country near the Pacific Ocean, her team was slaughtered by the Homo Demons, a separatist organization. They subsequently capture her, and though she's allowed to roam as she pleases, along with talking to Sam, she can't leave the city. Though the demons are decentralized by their very nature, they still run things in Edge Knot City. The kidnapping of Amelie is considered a means to retain their independence as they create voidouts and spread terror. Sam is asked to venture west and reconnect the remaining cities to the chiral network. Amelie will then assume the presidency and lead the UCA. Naturally, Sam refuses and storms out, but after seeing Amelie in a dream on the beach, he decides to take the mission. Setting out with BB-28, he ventures to the areas surrounding Capital Knot City, reintegrating them into the chiral network before doing the same for Port Knot City. However, upon exiting the Bridges base, he's accosted by Timefall, Tar, and numerous BTs, which back off after a masked man steps forward, the same person present before the void out in Central Knot City. Known as Higgs, he's the enigmatic leader of the Homo Demons and reveals that he learned the truth about the Death Stranding. He also reveals that Amelie isn't like him or Sam, that Dooms is not her thing, and she's more into destruction as an extinction entity. Higgs then summons a massive squad-like BT before disappearing, but Sam emerges victorious. The next stop is Lake Knot City, and while sea transport across the Ground Zero Lake is needed, Fragile Express offers its aid, with Fragile reuniting with Sam. As they cross the lake, Sam falls asleep and experiences a memory from when he was younger and meeting with Amelie, who's strangely still the same age as the present day on the beach. Upon awakening in Lake Knot City, Sam begins to reconnect 3 preppers and the distribution center. Fragile also subsequently reveals that she and Higgs used to work together, but after discovering that the Homo Demons were using Fragile Express to bomb various cities, she cut ties. Sam eventually receives a package from a Bridges member to deliver to South Knot City, but he later learns that it was Higgs in disguise and that it's actually a bomb. Taking Fragile's help, the bomb is sent into a tar pit, thus saving the city from disaster. However, this isn't the first time that Higgs has tried to destroy South Knot. After unknowingly transporting a bomb that caused the destruction of Middle Knot City in the past, Fragile intercepted another one before it could destroy South Knot. She was apprehended by Higgs, who offered the chance to run through the timefall and dispose of the bomb or teleport out to save herself. Fragile opted for the former, her body becoming disfigured by the rain. With the current situation resolved, Sam leaves the South Knot City base only to get caught up in a sudden storm, and transported to the trenches of what seems to be World War I. A figure is shown emerging from the tar and commanding several soldiers before we cut to Sam. Waking up in the war zone and navigating the ongoing conflict. He subsequently fights with the mysterious figure and his soldiers, and when the former looks to be down for the count, he suddenly rises and tries to grab Sam's bridge baby. Some strange flashbacks, seemingly from the perspective of the pod, are shown with the mysterious man. Sam is suddenly back in South Knot City, unable to explain what happened. Continuing his mission, his next task is to meet with Mama, a UCA scientist who he has been communicating with throughout the mission. While receiving new Cupid hardware, Sam senses a BT that turns out to be her baby, and why she can't leave her lab. She then asks him to venture to Mountain Knot City to meet her twin sister, Lockney, and update the Cupid, which is easier said than done because the latter outright refuses to reconnect. It's revealed that Mama, while pregnant, was present in the hospital during a terrorist attack in the past, which led to her being trapped. It was only because of her daughter being born on the other side that she continued to survive. Though eventually discovered, she was unable to leave the hospital site, bound to it with her daughter. She subsequently withdraws from Lockney, but after realizing what must be done for Sam's mission to continue, she asks him to sever her connection with her daughter. Sam then transports her to Mountain Knot City to be with Lockney, after evading a BT summoned by Higgs before Mama passes away. She reconciles with Lockney, though it's revealed that her soul joins with the latter in the same body. With the Cupid updated and Mountain Knot City reconnected to the chiral network, Sam proceeds to reconnect various preppers to the chiral network. Before that, Deadman informs him that his BB, which he's taken to calling Lou, must undergo a realignment procedure. Deadman also reveals, away from the prying eyes and ears of Bridges, details about the first BB experiments, and despite the technology being banned after a void-out killed the then-acting president, they continued off the books. This was all done at the behest of Bridget, who had big plans for the BBs, like incorporating them into the chiral network to facilitate travel to the beach. Die Hardman also plays some role, though Deadman is unsure. He warns Sam to be careful and that they're watching. BBs exist between the worlds of the living and the dead, but thanks to its interactions with Sam, Lou is leaning towards the former, which sounds heartwarming, but it could mean the end of its life within days. The realignment also poses the risk of erasing Lou's memories. Despite some conflicts between the two, Sam eventually agrees to part with Lou. Without Lou, Sam continues meeting with and fulfilling requests for the preppers in the area. After enough requests have been fulfilled, he meets up with Deadman at a cabin to reunite with and reset Lou. Another storm looks nearby, and it's not long before Sam, Lou, and Deadman are whisked away, once again awakening in a World War-esque battlefield. The mysterious combatant from before also returns and battles Sam once more. After Deadman connects to Lou and Sam defeats the combatant, the trio is whisked back to the world of the living. Deadman also learns of Sam's reason for leaving Bridges. A decade prior, the latter's wife, Lucy, committed suicide. While growing up, Sam's Doom's condition resulted in nightmares and constant trips to the beach, with Amelie helping him to cope and guiding him back to the world of the living. Unfortunately, since Lucy conceived a child with Sam, she would also have nightmares, which caused her to commit suicide. Deadman reveals this to Sam, who denies it along with his own origin. He was conceived in an artificial womb through in vitro fertilization, and several organs ended up missing, thus necessitating constant donors. Since he lacks a soul, this means he doesn't have a beach like other people. Before the two part ways, he also reveals that the combatant encountered in the supercell was a United States Special Forces member named Clifford Unger. Sam has seen memories of Unger while seemingly inside a BB pod, leading him to believe that perhaps those are Lou's memories due to their connection. The next stop for Sam's expedition is Hartman's lab. Part of Amelie's team in expanding west, Hartman lost his daughter and wife to voidouts. Recovering from heart surgery at the time, the shockwave caused a power outage that took him off of life support. Though on the beach for a temporary amount of time, Hartman reunited with his family since they were recently deceased. He would be revived after his life support came back online, but would continue stopping his heart for 3 minutes to venture to the beach and find his family, leading to permanent damage to his heart. Upon meeting Hartman, Sam provides him with Mama's body and Cliff's dog tags. However, another item was secretly requested: Bridget's umbilical cord. Since Mama's body hasn't necrotized, Hartman is able to compare and conclude that the cord is more akin to a BT. Sam subsequently sets out to reconnect scientists from Amelie's expedition to the chiral network, and upon returning to Hartman, learns that chiralium flows through Mama. The lack of decomposition is due to her daughter, which constituted Mama's soul. Hartman thus surmises that Bridget is an extension entity like Amelie. But what are extinction entities? Created through unknown means, these are beings responsible for mass extinctions. Known throughout the world's history, affecting significant environmental change, the umbilical cords tying them to the beach are known as strands and are responsible for the Death Stranding, which caused the world of the living and dead to become intertwined. Perhaps the most shocking revelation is that there have already been 5 extinction entities, the floating bodies seen at the start of the game, and 5 Death Strandings. More importantly, the entities are bound to their purpose to wipe out all of humanity and can't ignore their directive. With the Central Region's expansion complete, Sam prepares to head to Edge Knot City and finally rescue Amelie. The city is in ruins and Higgs returns to taunt Sam about Amelie's identity. After connecting the distribution center north to the chiral network, the United Cities of America have finally been reconnected. However, it's not over, as Sam and Higgs finally battle it out, the latter manifesting a large BT which the former overcomes. With some help from Fragile, Sam isolates and defeats Higgs in Amelie's beach after a brawl. Leaving Fragile to deal with Higgs, who proceeds to beat the literal and figurative tar out of him, Sam finally reunites with Amelie and learns the truth. She's an extinction entity, the soul of Bridget that remains connected to the beach and one capable of ending life on Earth. Her kidnapping was a ruse meant to trick Sam into venturing west and reconnecting the various cities on the chiral network to facilitate the last stranding. After roaming the beach together, Die Hardman, having learned of Amelie's identity as an extinction entity, appears and attempts to shoot her. He's stopped by the arrival of Cliff, and it's revealed that they used to be allies, with Die Hardman previously known as John Blake McCain. Though he seems hostile to his former comrade, he then targets Amelie, demanding the return of his BB. Amid all of this, Sam is sent into the seam to repatriate, while Amelie commences plans for the last stranding. Of course, he won't let things end so easily. He reunites with Hartman, Deadman, and Lockney in Capital Knot City with Fragile and formulates a plan to return to Amelie and stop the last stranding. The volatile nature of the beaches and Fragile's weakening from the numerous teleports means Sam must travel there on foot. He eventually encounters another storm and reunites with Cliff for one final battle. After sharing a brief moment to whistle a lullaby together, Cliff hugs Sam and calls him his bridge to the future. Returning to the world of the living and falling unconscious at the Ground Zero Lake, Sam is brought back to Port Knot City and listens to a message from Die Hardman. Recorded before he ventured to Amelie's beach, Die Hardman expresses doubts over Amelie's identity and resolves to kill her, which subsequently fails. Sam takes on a delivery of cryptobiotes for Capital Knot City meant for Fragile, who's growing weaker from her conditions. Upon receiving the package and improving, she reveals that Higgs was drawn to Amelie's abilities and that the latter manipulated him, due to being the true leader of Homo Demons. With her condition improving, Fragile and Sam teleport to Amelie's beach. Sam reunites with Amelie, who reaffirms that Bridget is her body, which passed away, while she is the soul. With the ability to initiate the last stranding, he can either stand by and watch her end the world, or sever their connection with Die Hardman's revolver, temporarily halting the end. He unexpectedly embraces Amelie instead, which causes the latter to delay the last stranding. She believes that previous Death Strandings were done to allow life to evolve and subsequently rise in the face of adversity. Amelie will remain on the beach, continuing her solitude and allowing humanity to survive. She hugs Sam one more time and sends him away. Keep in mind that this doesn't mean the last stranding is over and done with, just that it's been put on hold for now. Sam wanders his beach for a month and, thanks to his allies, returns to the world of the living. Jumping ahead, a presidential inauguration speech is underway, with Die Hardman assuming the role and uniting the UCA. Deadman later reveals to Sam that through the efforts of Hartman and Mama's soul, following the path of Die Hardman's revolver, they located Sam's beach and helped bring him back. He also confirms that Die Hardman is responsible for killing Cliff in the past. Confronting him about the same, Die Hardman confesses to his sins. Undeterred, Sam motivates him to build a better nation and leaves.
And when he stared me down, that ghost, I knew he was here to kill me, to make it right. And why shouldn't he? Why didn't he? He couldn't save his kid, his baby. And that's what brought him back. I guess when he saw I was trying to do my part for America, he remembered who he was. And he forgave me.
As for Lou, it's time for its decommissioning, which means disposing of it in an incinerator, as is protocol for BBs. After a sad meeting with Fragile where Sam reaffirms he has no place in the current world, he ventures to the incinerator west of Capital Knot City, where he first met Lou. Though initially intending to cremate it, Sam initiates a connection with Lou and finally learns the truth behind his visions with Cliff. It turns out that these are Sam's memories from when he was a bridge baby. When an accident left his mother, Lisa, brain dead, Cliff, his father, entrusted him to Bridges to take care of. After learning from John/Die Hardman about the BB experiments conducted by Bridget, Cliff tries to take Sam away, but is shot. Injured and with nowhere to go, but not willing to give up his son, he's killed when Bridget pulls the trigger on John's gun. Sam is also killed, but thanks to Amelie, her soul on the beach, he's healed and becomes a repatriate, returning to the land of the living. It's implied that this also caused the Death Stranding, leading to the game's events. In the flashback, Sam shares a final moment with Cliff before the latter is shot. Back in the present, he defies executive orders at Deadman's suggestion and removes Lou from the BB pod, attempting to revive it and succeeding, with Amelie seemingly helping. Leaving his cufflinks in the incinerator and venturing outside in the rain with the timefall no more, the sun starts shining and the game ends. A post-credit scene sees Sam with a picture of his wife and clasping hands with Lou, whose full name is revealed to be Louise. Thus concludes the story of Death Stranding. There are still plenty of questions to answer. Higgs' return indicates that he chose to remain stranded on the beach, though how he made his way out is unknown. Amelie remains on her beach, and though the goal is to halt the last stranding for as long as possible, you have to wonder how long she can hold out. There's also the question of who or what created or turned various beings into the extinction entities. Was it done to ensure the long-term survival of the planet, perhaps wiping the slate clean with a constant cycle of life and death? Does the Earth have some kind of purpose that necessitates its survival at the cost of all biodiversity, including humanity? How has stopping the last stranding affected this? And what about the rest of the world? The tagline of Death Stranding 2 on the Beaches trailer is, "We should have not connected," which director Hideo Kojima says is a 180-degree pivot from the first game's theme. The UCA connecting via the chiral network, allowing for one giant shared beach, is ultimately what hastened Amelie's plan for the last stranding. But what does this actually mean in the context of the sequel? It's also confirmed that the sequel involves a mission of human connections beyond the UCA, implying it takes place in other parts of the world. Together with a new organization founded by Fragile called Drawbridge, Sam embarks on a journey to once again save humanity and halt another extinction. Perhaps a new extinction entity has emerged and may initiate the last stranding. Whatever the case may be, we won't have to wait long to find out. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach launches on June 26th for PS5. With real-time terrain changes, new characters like Dahlman, Tarman, Rainey, and Tomorrow, and much more, it could very well be Kojima's biggest and weirdest game to date. One thing is for sure though, it'll be unlike anything we've ever experienced. Much like the first game. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.